Escape the golden handcuffs. Why building your own castle trumps seeking entry to someone else's. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of radical self definition and authentic power. I'm truly honored to share with you some transformative insights that have fundamentally changed how I view success, especially for Black professionals navigating complex power structures. These insights come from my recent profound conversation with Renee Alexis, a visionary thought leader who is single handedly revolutionizing how we conceptualize choice, validation, and authentic success. What makes Renee extraordinary isn't just her brilliant mind, but her courage to challenge entrenched systems that keep marginalized voices seeking permission rather than claiming their rightful power. Through her groundbreaking coaching methodology, she has liberated countless Black professionals from the prison of external validation, guiding them to build legacies on their own terms that cannot be dismantled by shifting social winds. Today, I want to challenge a fundamental assumption that shapes how we think about success, particularly for Black women in professional spaces. We've been conditioned to believe that more options always equal better outcomes, that gaining access to existing power structures represents the pinnacle of achievement, that validation from established institutions defines our worth. But what if this conventional wisdom is fundamentally dangerously flawed? What if seeking entry into someone else's castle, no matter how grand or prestigious, will always leave us vulnerable in ways that building our own foundation never will? This is the counterintuitive truth that emerged from my conversation with Renee Alexis, a truth that challenges us to completely rethink everything we've been taught about success, validation, and choice. From our earliest years, society conditions women, especially Black women, to build their worth on external validation rather than internal strength. Little girls are taught that beauty is their pathway to success. We learn that our appearance, our ability to please others, our willingness to conform to external expectations, these are the currencies that will supposedly open doors. This creates what Renee brilliantly calls the attention trap. The compliments, the freedom, the free stuff that comes with meeting external standards of value. But here's the devastating truth that few have the courage to speak aloud. These apparent benefits are actually golden handcuffs that limit true potential and independence. When our worth depends on external validation, we remain perpetually vulnerable. The standards can change overnight. The gatekeepers can withdraw their approval on a whim. The castle we've been granted temporary access to can expel us without warning or justification. This reality is particularly acute for Black women navigating professional spaces. The data tells this story with brutal clarity. Despite being the most educated demographic group in America, Black women continue to face significant wage gaps, promotion barriers, and representation challenges across industries. A 2023 study by McKinsey and Leanin.org found that for every 100 men promoted from entry level to manager, only 58 Black women receive the same opportunity. Black women are more likely to have their judgment questioned, their authority challenged, and their ideas appropriated without credit. These statistics aren't just numbers, they're the quantification of a painful truth. Seeking entry into castles built by others often means accepting terms that fundamentally undervalue our contributions and constrain our potential. But there is another way, a path that Renee Alexis illuminates with such clarity that once seen, it cannot be unseen. Instead of seeking entry into existing structures, what if we built our own foundations? What if we created value on our terms, developed skills and resources that cannot be taken away, and measured success by standards we define? This is the revolutionary power of choice that transforms how we approach our professional journeys. In every situation, whether professional or personal, there is always a choice to stay or leave, to speak up or remain silent, to conform or to create something new. The power lies in recognizing these moments of decision and understanding that inaction is also a choice. True empowerment comes from creating your own foundation rather than seeking entry into spaces built by others. This means developing skills, knowledge, and resources that cannot be taken away based on changing external standards. And when making choices, we must consider not just how it makes us feel in the moment, but what will be accomplished, who ultimately benefits, and whether it aligns with our authentic path. These principles aren't just theoretical, they're being put into practice by remarkable Black professionals who are building their own castles rather than seeking admission to existing ones. Consider Ashley Sims, a storyteller and leader breaking down barriers for Black entrepreneurs in Tulsa, Oklahoma. When Ashley looked at how Black Wall Street was portrayed, she saw something deeply troubling. A narrative reduced to a historical tragedy rather than celebrated as a blueprint for Black excellence and economic power. Rather than accepting these limited narratives, Ashley made a choice that would transform hundreds of lives. She joined Build in Tulsa in 2021 and was quickly recognized for her vision, being promoted to lead the initiative just a year later. What happened next demonstrates the exponential power of building your own castle. Under Ashley's leadership, this organization has grown to include 400 entrepreneurs, provided over 10,000 hours of training and coaching, and invested $10.5 million dollars with underrepresented founders. With 20 years of experience as a news reporter, advocate for vulnerable children, fundraiser, and nonprofit leader, Ashley brings a wealth of knowledge to her work. She's raised more than $16 million dollars for four different organizations and was named an Aspen Institute 2023 Health Communities Fellow. What makes Ashley's work so powerful is her unwavering commitment to reshaping the narrative that Black Wall Street is not a history lesson, but a blueprint. She believes, no, she knows that the next Black led billion-dollar company will emerge from Tulsa. This isn't just about economic development, it's about reclaiming historical narratives and building new foundations of power. Or take Sakina Hoffler, a writer who has achieved significant recognition in multiple literary genres while staying true to her authentic voice. As a Black writer, Sakina faced the formidable challenge of having her work recognized in an industry that has historically marginalized Black voices. Rather than conforming to expectations or limiting herself to spaces where Black writers are traditionally accepted, Sakina chose to explore multiple genres and platforms, from poetry to fiction to essays, creating her own path. Her work has received significant recognition, including being named a 2024 NYC Forge Fellow, winning the 2024 Analog Award for Emerging Black Voices, and the CP Cavafy Poetry Prize. Sakina has developed her craft across multiple genres, creating work that examines reality through defamiliarization. Her publications span prestigious outlets, including Poetry International and Analog Science Fiction and Fact, and she recently received an offer on her debut novel. Beyond her personal success, Sakina contributed to the collaborative play The Ground on Which We Stand, which won the Giles R. Wright Award for Excellence in African American History. By refusing to limit herself to a single genre or conform to industry expectations, Sakina has built her own literary castle, one that cannot be taken away by changing market trends or gatekeepers' preferences. And consider Lori Filippelli, who has built a dual career as both a college admissions counselor and a published poet, creating her own unique professional path. Lori faced the challenge of balancing practical career needs with creative pursuits, a common dilemma for many Black professionals. Rather than choosing between security and creativity, a false dichotomy that forces many talented individuals to abandon their passions, Lori built complementary careers that support each other. Her third collection of poetry, My Heart is a Museum, won the Broken Sleep Books poetry competition and will be published in 2026 while she maintains her counseling career and publishes the Mighty Writing Substack. Through her dual career, Lori demonstrates how Black professionals can create sustainable paths that honor both practical needs and creative aspirations. She didn't ask for permission to be both practical and creative. She simply built a castle that accommodates all dimensions of her talent. These stories illustrate a profound truth. When we build our own castles rather than seeking admission to existing ones, we create foundations that cannot be easily shaken. We define success on our terms. We create value that transcends external validation. This approach requires courage. It demands that we confront the discomfort of charting unknown territories rather than following established paths. It means questioning conventional wisdom about what success looks like and how it should be pursued. But the rewards are immeasurable. When we build our own foundations, we create legacies that extend beyond our individual achievements. We open doors for others who will come after us. We reshape narratives about what is possible. As Maya Angelou wisely observed, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. This wisdom speaks directly to the power of building your own castle. The defeats we encounter when seeking entry into spaces not designed for us aren't just setbacks, they're invitations to create something more authentic, more aligned with our true potential. Today, I challenge you to examine where in your life you've been seeking validation from systems that were never designed to fully recognize your worth. Where have you been knocking on doors that should instead be foundations for your own creation? Where have you accepted golden handcuffs disguised as opportunity? The revolution begins with this recognition. You were never meant to be a visitor in someone else's castle. You were born to build monuments to your own vision. So I ask you, what will you build? What foundation will you lay today that future generations will stand upon? What castle will rise from your courage to define success on your own terms? The world doesn't need more people seeking admission to existing structures. It needs visionaries brave enough to imagine and create new possibilities. It needs you fully empowered, completely authentic, and absolutely unwilling to diminish your light, to fit into spaces too small for your greatness. Build your castle, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the world gives you permission. Build it now. Build it with every choice you make. Build it with the fierce determination of someone who knows that true power comes not from access to existing structures, but from the courage to create your own. Your castle awaits. Will you answer the call?